just a rabbi, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you?
And hello, everybody. This is Pascal Antoine, and I am here. I'm joined. This is a brand new show, people. This is a brand new show. I'm here with Jeff Paul Daiti. Jeff Paul Daiti, and this is Economics Resurrection. You're going to talk to us a lot about a lot of things, right?
Yes, we are. I'm actually very glad to be part of this show with you, and I hope people are going to be happy on knowing more about what's going on around us, and so we can make a drastic change.
And I know you're very knowledgeable. I can't wait. I'm going to be here in the wings, pressing the buttons. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. And Monsieur Paul, take it away. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say thank you for accepting me and this show in your house. I don't know what time it is today, but if it is morning or evening, but whatever time you're giving me, I appreciate. So before we start anything, I just wanted to give you a small little disclaimer where everything that's going to be said on this show, it's not legal advice. That's number one. Number two, it's not also financial advice. You have to be able to decipher for yourself directions you want to take. Also, there are different aspects that's going to talk about jurisdiction. We're not here to challenge jurisdiction as well. And also, a lot of the things that are going to be talked about are based on historical presence and viability and facts. So these aspects alone are the true factors of what's going to help us ascend to a better level of knowledge. You know, I love when the Bible said that my people die lack of knowledge. And I do believe that it is a very crucial point of reference for us. Number one, to be enlightened, and number two, to redirect ourselves with adequate knowledge, comprehension, and vision of what is needed for ourselves. So, number one, my name is Jeff Paul. Who am I? And, why would you want to hear from me? First and foremost, I'm an old man. That's the number one thing. People say that I look young, but I'm a half a century. So you may not, you may not want to hear an old man. But all I can tell you is I've experienced a lot of things in my life, and one of the bases of this show is the ideology behind wealth. How and what is wealth? So based on this approach, am I wealthy? So that would be number one. You do not want to hear from somebody that is not wealthy or somebody that is trying to be wealthy. Well, in my case, I'm a paraplegic. I'm actually on a small wheelchair. Actually, it's a pretty big wheelchair, and I cannot move. So my whole entire life right now is based on what others can help me achieve. So my perception of wealth is a little bit different than others because I realize a fundamental point of reference. Wealth is based on services to others and the ability to provide as a person or a natural man that owns its own ability, thought process, and direction. That is what is wealth. And what you're going to realize throughout these shows are all the fundamental point of reference that are so crucial to understand what is needed in order to grow as a nation, as an individual, as a father, as a man of morality. So these are the topics, and these are in reference part of my character. So those are the things that I'd like to bring onto the table that will define if you really want to hear what I have to say or not. And I guess I'd like to say thank you to DodorVibe to invite me to hear a little bit more about what is being said, what needs to be heard, and hopefully I can make you laugh, I can make you cry, I can make you think, and I can also influence you not to dream about what we are or what Haiti needs to be, but also make the drastic moves, actions in order to make our country, ourselves better. So hopefully this small introduction was okay. Pascal.
The introduction was fine. The introduction was okay. Take it from me.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Then let's go to a small presentation. First and foremost, before I can go any further, Pascal, I'd like to give homage to a few people that helped me understand my environment first and foremost, because these people came at a crucial time in my life when I asked God for clarification on history, on self-identity, on environmental point of reference, and also on religious clarification. So the first person that I'd like to say thank you to is Rob Skiba. So Rob Skiba, he's no longer in this world. He came from Massachusetts, and he went to live in Midwest, Texas, I believe, or Arizona. And he passed away around the COVID area. He's the son of a pastor. He's an Army veteran, but he's somebody who loves God. And what allowed me to connect with him is the fact that he questioned everything. And one of the key that he questioned is religion. Son of a pastor that questioned religion. So I'd like to say thank you and give homage to Rob. So you will find that along the path that we're going to take, I am going to use a lot of his documentary because he's done a lot of research, and I'm not going to take credit for somebody else's hard work. So the second person would be Dan Calloway. So Dan Calloway is a young Black man that tried to understand the true essence of being an American. So his focus is more on historical evidence of who we are based on, are we slaves, and what does the term slavery mean, and how did we come to where we are today. So his books and research are now being adopted by multiple universities because some of the presidents inside of our historical books were declared non-conform and void because of his studies. So technically, what I just said is that a lot of the history that they give us is BS. So this man and his research also will show you that what they say is not what it is. And that's a very key, crucial on defining the determination.
The camera has a mind of its own. The camera has a mind of its own. It has a mind of its own. We'll let you get that back on track so that we can continue. Let's see. There we go. Do we see you? You're coming back. You're coming back. I know you're coming back.
I'm coming back.
There you are.
We come back.
Wonderful. I came back too much. Go right ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Let's see. You can do it.
Let me see.
There you go.
I don't know what's going on. I think it must
Is it
be
doing it by itself?
Yes.
Some kind of spirit. There's a spirit in the house.
You know, let me tell you.
Yeah.
A lot of time, what I realize is that every time you try to do something that is tangible, something that is important, you find a lot of resistance. You don't know why those resistance happen, and most likely you try to give up. I give up. The moment that happens, guess what happens?
What happens?
Oh my God, I wish I had done it. So technically, those resistance are spirits that does not want you to do what
they don't want you to do what you want to do. So you have to fight them, right?
You got to fight them.
What when that happens? What do? You have to fight them. You have to sort of.
Well, what I've learned is sometimes fasting is very important and prayers, because everything starts in the spirit. Everything.
Right.
That's why programmation, like when you watch TV, it's a programmation. They program you to think. So when you see them spending
en français en créole, programmation.
Programmation.
Right? Programmation. Yeah.
As soon as you start watching a lot of TV, now you have a point of reference of what you should be doing when this thing happened in real life.
Right.
But you realize that they are spending millions and millions and millions of dollars to make sure you think a certain way.
To control your mind.
The only way for you not to think the way that they want you to think is not to be too much in front of the movies. Is to be outside, experiencing, and really. Yeah.
Jeff, is that the same? Is that the same thing as what's happening with these kids in front of social media and they're scrolling? They're on TikTok. They're scrolling, and it's just controlling their mind. There's some kids. I mean, there are adults who have problems staying away from social media and staying away from the screen, and these are supposed to be adults that have control of themselves.
Low
So imagine a
attention,
child.
low attention deficiency.
Right.
You
Yeah.
cannot spend 45 minutes watching this
Hmm.
podcast because you have to flip.
Absolutely. Right.
You're gonna have to flip. That's where TikTok comes in place.
Exactly. I was on the bus the other day, heading to work, and there was a Haitian guy on the bus, and I remember because he was looking at Haitian TikTok. He didn't look at any of the TikToks for more than 3 seconds, but it was just scroll, scroll, scroll,
Yeah.
scroll, scroll, and he was mesmerized. It's like he was hypnotized, and he was just mindlessly scrolling through it.
I have a question
So,
for you.
mhm.
A simple question. Why do you think they pay a lot of money for YouTube, TikTok, and any other social media to people that have a lot of followers that watch a lot of their videos? Why do you think they spend the money on that?
Because I think those followers, they're getting certain people. If I was in advertising and a
Hmm.
particular person was an influencer, so to speak, and that person was targeting the market that I wanted, then yeah, I would pay that person, and I would try to put my advertising in front of that person's audience so that I
That's
supposedly could make some money. That's what I would do.
that's when you advertise.
Right.
But what happens when you don't advertise? What
Um.
hap- I'll give you another
Mhm.
one. What
Yes.
happened when the advertisement that you're trying to push in upon people does not equate the amount of money that you're giving one particular person of having
Hmm.
so much subscribers, spending so much time in front of the TV?
I think an
What happened?
advertiser, one of the things they go to somebody else or they try something else. If this particular person or platform is not working for me, I'm not going to be able to afford to continue spending my money giving it to this particular person or this particular platform, and I'm going to have to pivot and go and try something else.
You are absolutely right.
Okay.
I'll give you another dimension.
Hmm.
Back in the days, if you have a small little village,
Hmm.
if somebody is trying to get into that village and take over, you usually have people that are looking out for you. The moment that they raise the alarm,
Hmm.
everybody's up.
Right.
Am I right?
Right. Right.
Today, that village, if you give them an iPhone and everybody's on that iPhone, and you have a group of people that are trying to take over, how hard do you think they're going to take? It's going to take them
I'm
to.
assuming it probably will be very difficult because everybody's on their iPhone, or if those people are getting to me through my iPhone, that could be a different result also.
Could
I
be a
I mean, I
different
don't
result.
know. Yeah.
So what I'm realizing that is that the more time we spend in front of the TV, the less fight or real fight we actually
Hmm.
make inside of this world.
Okay.
And
What?
because of that, they are spending a lot of money on making sure that you never spend the time to fight for what's right in the
Mm.
real world. So
Okay.
that's why you're letting a lot of things passing by
Hmm.
and you are in front of the TV hoping that somebody is going to make the move for you. We
Hmm.
become conditioned.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
Got it?
I get it. I absolutely get it.
All right.
Let me let you
So,
continue here.
all right. So now let's talk about foundation and why
There,
foundation
just
matters.
to remind you, there was somebody else that you were going to talk about also. I don't know if you
Oh,
wanted to.
yes.
Hmm.
The last person is Curimeo. Oh, so Curimeo, who is he? A young man from Dorchester, Massachusetts. Well, I'm from Massachusetts also, but I'm actually a little bit north. This young man, he is one of the people who actually enlightened me. They'll tell you that if you want wealth, you have to go into books. Why? Because people do not go into books. If you want to hide money, put it in books. That's what they used to tell you. This gentleman right here, what he has done is to utilize what's available to us, which is libraries. There are a lot of libraries, there are a lot of books that were created in the time frame that was necessary, that was at that time real. So what I mean is, if you're talking about something in the 1400s, then it'll get you a book that was putting in place in the 1400s. And he'll literally read the book. He'll give you the mindset. He'll give you the supportive material. And it will give you other books to support the content of what he's trying to tell you. What is that? What does that do for me? A lot of people cannot read, and a lot of people do not decipher very well. Everything that he has done, this gentleman, Mayo, is to create documentary videos of books, reading books, putting them in content, and also aligning them in a way it makes sense. I will never take, I would say, credit from somebody that has worked so hard to read to us what they have hidden inside of books. And this gentleman is one of the first person with another gentleman that actually run a show called 432 radio show, who actually allowed me to understand what the term Haiti means and what we are as far as people. So thank you for Mayo. And let's start on a small presentation of what yet to come. Because number one, if we're going to talk about finance and wealth, you have to understand the foundational aspects. Number one, the term is language structure. So why is language structure matter? Every statute, regulation, contract, administrative action, all of them depend on definitions. Word create boundaries, responsibilities, and permissions. So if you cannot express yourself well enough, you will have issues. As an example, I'll give you an example. Law does not regulate emotions, but it regulates conduct. Law does not interact with thoughts, but it regulates records. Law functions through written instruments, filings, and agreements. So when you understand this legal language, these allow individuals to participate more efficiently and also ask the right questions so that they can make the best decision ever. This is not resistance. This is just literacy. Understanding words. Now, the other aspect is symbol, records, and identification. Modern legal system rely on records. That's why the court is all about records. That's why government will tell you it's all about records. Name, title, certificate, registration, identification, documents, all are tools used to organize relationship within this society. These records does not define your worth or your identity. You have to understand that. They define administrative references only. I'm sorry, I'm kind of very cold. Corporation, agency, trust, and institutionals are legal constructs. They are created to manage responsibility, liability, and continuity. If you understand that, those are very important in the distinction of individual that recognize the difference between being a human person, a real natural person, and an administrative function. We have to distinct between those two because those are two different attributes that you have. You are the administrator, but you are also a created being by a supreme creator. Very important. So now the third aspect are the historical roots of commercial language. We learn about the language, we learn about the administrative aspect. Now, understanding these commercial linguistic perception are very important. Why? To understand modern finances, one must understand trade history. If you can't do that, you will have a lot of issues. If you're only into investment, then that's all you are into. But if you don't understand patterns, where they come from, how to invest, what are the rationalities behind it, you'll make mistakes. So, long before modern nation existed, commerce traveled through waters. Now, waters. This is what gave birth to maritime law. Now, how? Well, you have rivers, you have ports, you have seas. All of those connect to civilizations. That's number one. As a result, early commercial rules were developed around maritime trades. This history influenced a language that we are using today. Now, as an example, when you talk about banks, well, a bank originates from the bank of a river, or the river bank, or a storage place. When you talk about currency, it refers to the flow of a current or the current.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
What we talk about,
It makes sense. When you say it, it makes perfect sense. But I'm just realizing I didn't know what the origin of those words were. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jeff Paul Laiti.
very welcome. When we talk about liquidity, that describes ease of movement. Now, settlement, which is underneath the water, it's describing the conclusion of exchange. When you understand these fundamental point of reference, you are going to understand that a lot of the words that we are using are maritime terminology. Now, remember that there are two types of accessibility. The one from the land and the one from the sea. So whenever you're going to be dealing with wealth, you have to understand that the government and the court system are trying to bring you to sea. But if you understand that you were created by the Creator, that means that you have to acclimate wealth through the land. Two different things. The ruler of the sea is administrative. The owning of the land is natural law or common law. That's what's going to make a huge difference in the basis of wealth. And if you leave your land to go somewhere else because of society is better somewhere else, you're leaving your land behind. You are leaving wealth behind. It's because you don't understand. But let's keep going.
Can we take a break right now? We got to pay a couple
Absolutely.
bills. We're going to come right back. This is really fascinating. I know people are watching this and if you're as fascinated as I am, I mean, this is, we're going to have more shows like this, trust me. But we will be right back. Let's just take a short station break and we will be back.
Yo, brother. Sak DodorVibe la.
O baz, koton keye?
M'tande an pil moun ak pale de li.
DodorVibe Radio se yon nouvo stasyon radio nan la kou Brooklyn. Yo jwe bon müzik epi yo pay bon informasyon.
Ki jan sa? Mba konen, non?
Men Fafan, mwen de Fafan.
Fafan,
Oh, sa nap fe la? Sak pase mesye myo?
sa ou kont de DodorVibe? Sa ye men.
DodorVibe FM yo relil. Yon nan pi bon stasyon radio nan la kou Brooklyn.
E vre? Kote map jwen li men.
Wap jwen di tout kote.
Ki jan tout kote la?
Tout kote mdi yo. Se yon stasyon sou internet. Depi ou gen internet, wap ka koute l nepot kote ou ye nan le monde entier.
Ouwe, ou te gen le pase mtap bay manti.
Ki fa? Le monde entier?
Jan tendel. Epi gratis ti chéri.
Oh, epien, kote map jwen radio sa.
Rale telefon nou, epi monte sou DodorVibe.com.
Ok. DodorVibe.com.
C'est ça. Bisous mes amours.
You're chilling with the smoothest sounds on DodorVibe FM, bringing you that laid-back vibe straight from Brooklyn.
And here we are back on Economics Resurrection with Jeff Paul Daiti with some really fascinating information. Take it away.
Thank you, sir. So now the next portion we talked about the land. Now we're going to talk about the law of the sea. Now the law of the sea is the commercial law. So commercial law is also known as international law. In the land, we refer to it as UCC code, Uniform Commercial Code. Okay? Now, the law of the sea is under something called the Admiralty and Maritime Law. Remember, this is only for educational context only. So technically what you need to do is whatever I tell you is informational. Yes, that is true. But it also requires you to do your own research. Knowledge is yours. If you hear it, I'm not just preaching. I don't want to be just a preacher. I want to be able to give you enough so that when you see it, yes, you understand it, but you also done your research. So maritime and admiralty law developed to govern shipping, navigation, and international trade. In the United States, admiralty jurisdiction is constitutionally recognized and applies to specific category of maritime activities. All that, what does that all mean? Well, let me clarify. Maritime trades, admiralty, documentation that's going to develop the trades. So technically, the admiralty are the boss. So there's laws to become the boss. And then maritime is what are you trading? Very important. Admiralty law does not replace civil law. It does not convert individuals into vessels. It doesn't do that. It does not override constitutional protection. However, its terminology influences commercial system due to the historical role of maritime trade. This is historical influence, not convert substitution. You're not substituting nothing. What you are doing is understanding the term that can be used in order to define wealth. Wealth. So now, the subject before last is contracts and participations. Contracts are fundamental to commerce. Contracts are between two human beings. And even though you would have what we call a person or a corporation, these cannot be driven without a human factor. When I say a human, a man or a woman factor. You and I are created to do one thing and one thing only, to serve each other. So that's why when you realize that people have different moral attributes like greed and all these sin, they do not help me serve you better. There are no profession out there in the world that are not created to serve someone. So if you understand that, you'll understand that wealth is based on how the land is served to serve each other. These are the factors that will allow you to understand wealth. So now, in the basis of contract, you have to have an offer, you have to have an acceptance, you have to have consideration, and you have to be able to perform. Those four are the fundamental of commercial understanding. We Haitians, we get lost into promises. That is just the offer. The considerations, we forget the consideration. Who gets hurt? It doesn't matter. I'm trying to get money to get better so I can help my family. So you still try to help your family, not understanding that you will hurt somebody else's family. And the performance are very important. Yes, based on the contract, it's based on production, it's based on consideration, but the performance, if you do not participate in it, then you become dependent of the performance. And that's one of the things that Haitians lack when we do treaty with other countries, or when we do business with others. We are dependent on their performance, not our performance. We neglect our participation in creating, because if we participate, it brings knowledge, comprehension, abilities, and now professionalism. All of that are part of performances. So knowledge does not invalidate agreement. What it does, it strengthens accountabilities. Very important. So all Haitians, no matter if you are going for government, whatever your positions are, understanding these fundamental. All right. Now, why does confusion exist through the whole entire process? It should be easy. I need something, you have something to offer, we sign a contract, performance, and then I'm happy. On the lower scale, it's pretty much easy. On the higher scales, what happened? Many people feel overwhelmed sometimes by legal system because they were never taught and how to use the system and how it developed itself. So when you get a letter or when somebody writes a contract, it's overwhelming. You need a lawyer. Why does people use legalese? Why? Well, you have to go back in the timeline to realize that back in the days, religion or Christianity used to use dead languages like the Latin just to acclimate their power or their knowledge. But at the end of the day, people that are listening, they don't understand a word of what's being said. So that attribute is passed down into the judicial arena. So now legalese would be used to confuse you. So that confusion, it's usually mistaken for complexity. It's complex, but it's not. Or you learn the legalese, or you do not play by the rules. You need clarification. You use your own language. That is different because now you become, how would you call that? Sovereign? And when I mean sovereign, it's not a sovereign citizen crap. It's sovereign in your mind. It's being an adult. If somebody speaks gibberish, you say, hey, stop talking nonsense. Talk straight. Straight talk. So when language is used, history is used, the structure I explained clearly, the legal system now becomes more navigable and less intimidating. Education restore balance. So this is why when we talk about someone who wants to help Haiti, they want to become, president, and they do not understand some of these fundamentals, you will realize that when they reach power, they have no power. That is a problem. So in conclusion, understanding foundational beneath a system, it changes the way we interact with it. Understanding the foundation beneath a system, if you understand how it works, then you know how to deal with it. This presentation is not about avoiding responsibility or asserting special status or understanding different ways to navigate. No. This presentation is there for you to have comprehension, clarity, being informed of the platform that we are going to be talking about, so that every individual understand every structure that you are willing to stand under, which means understanding what you are, who you're dealing with, what they are using, in order for you to still keep the law of the land, which provide wealth. And all it is understanding the administrative branches that they are using, how it impacts you, and how you can deal with it. So this is my first presentation. Hopefully, it allows you to see the direction that the foundation is taking you. So the foundation was created so that all Haitians, first and foremost, understand their identity. If you don't know who you are, it's very hard to stand in court. If you don't have documentation, it's very hard to create a legal stand. So that's number one. Number two, if you don't have a vision or understand how to create the ability to create what you envision, then guess what happens? You lose capacity. And losing capacity does one thing to you: despair, inability to provide. And what else? Discouragement. And then now you become dependent, because somebody else has to come for your solution. So knowledge is key. Now, Pascal.
Yes, sir.
Would you have any question about this particular presentation?
I don't, but I'm waiting for you. I'm looking at one of the slides you provided, and it says Tameri, and I don't know. I don't want you to forget that, because I'm very curious. So I'm waiting for you to talk about that.
All right.
But when you're ready, I didn't want to rush you.
No.
That's what I'm waiting for.
So, knowing thyself is one thing. Knowing where you are is another. If I'm home, you're not going to tell me what to do. If I'm at your house, then I have to understand your rules. Now, IET, what is that? IET, they tell you that it's a word that was used by the Taínos when Christopher Columbus got into the island, of describing or telling them what the island was. So IET is part of the Americas, am I right? But we have an issue here, because in Taíno, they'll tell you it means it's a mountainous region. However, when Christopher Columbus came, and we will find that out in one of the Curry Mayo's video on his documentation on what he found when he reached Haiti, that his translator, Luis del Toro, spoke Hebrew and Aramaic. And when you read the books of Luis del Toro about Haiti, he'll tell you that Haiti, at that time, spoke an older form of Hebrew. So an older form of Hebrew is very important because now you have a reference of the word and its origin. Its origin is Hebrew, and the word is Haiti, and it's written Hay by itself, and then Et by itself, which become Haiti. Those were two words. But they tell you that it's in the Americas. Now, if you learn about history, they will tell you that America was put together by a gentleman called Amerigo Vespucci. But Amerigo Vespucci, his first name is Amerigo, which they'll tell you that it's the word America. But it doesn't make sense because anyone who discover anything, you want to give your last name. Your last name, what does it do? It literally guarantees that your descendants will have recognition. But his first name is Amerigo, but he was born Albert. So who's pushing Amerigo, and why are they trying to create that notion to deter you from the word America? Well, let's take a look on that term, America. First and foremost, why don't you put it up,
Put up the Tamari?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So first, the word is Tamari. So Tamari, it's the ancient name of Egypt. And it was called Tamari by the Egyptian Tamaricans. And the word cans, it's written K-A-A-N-S, but it's also K-H-A-N-S, the cans of Tamari. So wait a minute. American. America. So Tamari gives you Tamarol, T-Ameri, Tamer. Now, why is it important to understand these words and their, where they come from? Well, the word Kemet means dark land. And dark land, it's also Amaru. So Amarukans or Tamari define the lands of what? Of Egypt. So you will find that in this land right here, Egypt is where it originates. That's why in the Bible you have ancient Egypt, and then you also have New Egypt in history. So ancient Egypt is where Joseph actually reside. And New Egypt is where you have the pyramid nowadays. Two different locations. Now, why is it important for us to understand that? Well, it will help us, first and foremost, understand who are the indigenous or the aboriginal of the land, Tamari. Where do they come from? Who are they? If you are a Christian, then we can go into history to tell you that the children of Shem and the children of Ham look like each other. That's why one would hide, in Egypt to escape, confrontation. So understanding these factors also allows you to open up your eyes on the environment of where you are so that you can define also what is being used in commerce to affect you, but also remember wealth is the land. If wealth is the land, according to U.S. government laws, no corporation can own land in the Americas except the natural person and the Aboriginal people. Now you understand why they do not want you to know who are the Aboriginal people. That's number one. But at the same time, what we are doing is, how would I call it? It's not just educational, but it's academical. Why? Whenever you use the word statistics, it gives you a futuristic point of reference based on past experiences. Very important. So if I can manipulate the statistics, then remember, if I can manipulate the statistics, then I can influence the future references. The same thing with knowledge of where you are. If I can go back and manipulate the stats, and the stats would be what? Well, they would call it census. Every census that were created were there to remove or to relocate or to rename a group of people in order for them not to understand who they are. So I manipulated the stat in order to change your position on knowledge of owning the land, because the land is where the power is. So that's why today you'll find that a lot of the lands that are worthy or worth is owned by a different corporation, a different group of people that, according to what we call contractual commercial rights, which is called treaties, they have no right to the land. Remember that. Treaties are very important. So if you understand the treaty, then you also understand, the law that governs your strength in law. So the law is anything that can be implemented or enforced. However, if you don't control government, or if you don't control the people together, then you have no strength. So somebody else will have the ability to say no, they do not want to impose the law. So that's why it's important for all of us to do what? To own our rights in order to enforce what's ours.
This is mind-blowingly interesting. Unfortunately, we're coming to a close. So what I want to ask you is, what can we look forward to in the future? What do you have planned for us during future shows?
So the term wealth is very important, because wealth is what allows you to say, I am my own person, but I'm an adult. See, that term adult is very important. So, people call it sovereign. I don't use that term.
I've seen a lot of that online.
Yeah, I'm independent. So technically, I'm able to do what I need. Independence are in different region. It's security. You have to be independent in your security, being able to secure yourself. You have to be independent in your food consumption. You have to be able to create your food. So the problem with society is that they remove that independency from you. So you are very dependent on the government. If the government does something wrong, then who's going to bring my food to my place?
So as me who's watching you, I'm watching just to let everybody know this show is going to be coming on every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. This first show is going to be coming on Wednesday tomorrow because Thursday this week is Christmas Day. It'll come on again on Thursday. But then after that, every week you'll be watching this every Thursday. So as somebody who's watching this and trying to figure out, do I want to watch this again? What could you tell me that's going to make me want to watch this again?
Know thyself, understand how money works, understand the foundational of wealth is the only thing that's going to allow us Haitian to truly persevere and separate ourselves from poverty to riches.
Wonderful. And we need that. We absolutely need that. So I want to thank you for doing this show. We're going to be back next week, same time, same channel. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Signing off, guys. See you guys on the next show.
Bye-bye.
Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing?